Hi, I'm Kristy Scott, CEO of Crystalline Earth Healing, and you are tuned in to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hello, my amazing favorite viewers and listeners. If you're joining us on the podcast, don't think I've forgotten about you. I haven't. I am so excited today because I'm always excited. Let's dial it back a little bit, but really, I'm very, very excited because guess what? Kristy Scott is in the house. Whenever the shamans make their way onto the show, I get superstar excited. And Kristy is here to share with us today from her heart. And we're just an empty vessel right now, just open up, waiting for her to pour into us. Really, really excited for her to share with us. So we're just coming off Ladies Power Launch Summit. And for those of you who you're tuning into this crazy show for the first time and you're like, who is this woman and what is she talking about? Hi, I'm Dr. Davia Shepherd. I host a show called Grow Your Business Smarter, Live Your Optimal Life, but I also host a women's group over on Facebook called Ladies Power Lunch, because we're ladies, we're powerful, we're empowering each other, and we like to have meat and have lunch. So there's that. So we're Ladies Power Lunch. It's a free, amazing place for women in business. We're talking all kinds of women in business, folks. If you are an entrepreneur, solopreneur, if you own a big business, or if you own a small business, if you're in corporate life, if you're in nonprofit, if you're even retired, we open our arms and we welcome you. One thing that holds us all together, however, is that we're the kind of folks who really, truly, we don't just put lip service to this, people. We really, really believe that when we come together, when we support each other, that every single one of us wins. You win. The person you're supporting wins. The clients that they serve wins. The clients that you serve win. The greater good wins. I mean, it's all amazing. And of course, it's no surprise that we're finding ourselves here on the Win-Win Women Network because we're a perfect fit. So I invite you, come join us. Easy to join. Just go to growsmarternotharder.com/Facebook and come be a part of our amazing community. So Kristy and I were just coming off of the Ladies Power Lunch Summit, and the name of the summit was Live Your Optimal Life. And, it's one of those things where our lives are pretty okay, but for a lot of us, there's something in our life that might be a little sticky or that we might need some work on. And sometimes we can allow that to steal our joy and prevent us from enjoying and being in gratitude for all the other things that are going amazingly. And what that can cause for us is that sometimes we can end up stuck in this place where that thing that we'd love to have shift just isn't moving. And so we had this whole summit talking about stuff like that with 18 best-selling authors who shared their stories, their vulnerable, heartfelt stories, and actually gave us workshops that helped us work through all of our blocks so that we can all together live our optimal lives. Because I have an ulterior motive here, folks. When we're living our optimal lives, we can better serve the folks that we're here to serve. And so they can better serve the people they're here to serve, and they serve better, and on it goes. And it's this ripple effect that, in my so humble opinion, makes the world a better place. So come on, let's have some conversation with Kristy. This is going to be amazing, I promise. And at the end, we'll pull a card just like we always do. Welcome, Kristy. So happy that you're here. Thank you so much for saying yes to being on our show and to being part of our Ladies Power Lunch Live Your Optimal Life Summit. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me here today. It's an honor to be here.
So, Kristy, can you share with us who you are and tell us a little bit about the wonderful things that you're doing in the world?
I would love to. So I'm Kristy. I am the creatrix of Crystalline Earth Restorative Healing. I'm a shamanic practitioner, a holistic mentor, a certified source leader, and an animal communicator. I have to add to a mom of a 26-year-old rising son who's also an entrepreneur. So what I do is I bring people back home to themselves through a holistic approach, using nature, sound, frequency, and it's earth healing. That's what I'm all about, nature and earth. And this is where we find our true north, right? This is where we're grounded, we become aligned anchors and these powerful leaders and find freedom and joy. That's what I'm all about, where we come from a full cup so that we can give to others.
It's so important for us to start from that place of fullness and to give from our overflow. I really, really do find that for very many of us who find ourselves in this women in business space, we are so committed to being in service that sometimes we forget to fill ourselves up first. So I love that what you do really works to help reinforce that, helps to support that, helps to make us better at doing that and being that. That's wonderful. I wonder though, tell us a story because our viewers and listeners, they're very nosy, just like me. They want to know. I mean, how does one become a shaman? How, when I was in, college and I had to go to the counselor and pick among all the career options that were out there, I just didn't see shaman on the list. So tell us that story. How
Mm.
did you make that connection with your life's calling?
Mm. From a very young age. And I think too from a past life, and I won't go, that far back, but I come here from a long lineage, and why? So I like to start off with this is why. Have you ever lost trust in the human world? I lost trust in nearly all humans in my young years, and quite early in my life, and I couldn't breathe easily around them. I felt my muscles and my body get tense, and I could mask it, but it didn't feel good. And it was really nature and the plants and the trees that really brought me into the refuge of safety for me. Um, so from that place, I really found myself. I came home to myself, and from that place and growing up in nature, I knew that I came here to transform and to break fear-based thinking and shed light on cycles of unhappiness and of negativity and some of the ancestral lineage things that were in my family. And I believe that we're all, connected deeply to ourselves, and that we're all that I know. I believe that when we are connected deeply to ourselves, that we are in the heart of our world. And by that I mean we are connected to our highest self, our wisdom, our where we find our embodied divinity. And my why was to remember who I was and to, find more trust within myself, to let my intuition illuminate what I knew to be true of who I was. I wasn't what the outside world said I was. And it took me a long time to understand that and work through that. Um, so nature like grew me up. Like I grew up in the woods. And so it's my passion to use that with others, and to help people come home to themselves.
I feel like we all need to come home to ourselves. Even some of us who are probably close to home, we might be on the street, maybe we're at the door, but to really come home to ourselves, that's something I think we can all benefit from. But who are the kinds of clients that you find just work really, really well with the processes that you use?
Yeah. Um, these are people who are committed to their work. And I mean that they are self led, that they realize that it's a process, that we're always in process. It's not a quick fix. I used to do that. I used to be the healer that come and I'll fix you and you go and you feel great. And I now know that it's a process and that the client has to take part in that process as well. You have to take responsibility for yourself. You have to be willing to have trust and self compassion. And um, I really feel like stepping in and doing the work helps us believe in ourselves. So by people coming to me, it's really about believing themselves and having the willpower to do that work. It can be hard. It can be scary. Some people find shamanic work scary because we're going in deep.
I totally hear you. Tell us a story of a client who maybe when they came to you, they weren't in the best place, but after working with you, they saw some really good shifts that helped them to live their optimal life.
Yeah, I was thinking of stories, and because like there's so many clients, I like there's like a general theme that I see within the clients that come, and that theme is all about looking for guidance and direction. And I felt sense of knowing that there's something more than just what's out there. It's a felt sense of knowing that they belong, um, a lot of the clients feel they feel disconnected and ungrounded. So many that I see are completely disconnected from themselves, which puts them in the thinking mind, which creates havoc because when we're in the thinking mind, we are not connected to ourselves. We're not connected to spirit. We're not connected to our higher wisdom. So we can create our own suffering that way. And so these clients come to get reconnected to themselves, to spirit. A lot of them feel stuck, that they can't get ahead, that old patterns are blocking them, and they're like stuck in this box per se. Like I've heard so many people say, I just feel like I'm in this box. I can't get past this. Some just need a tune-up. They need to be revived. They need to be cleared. This work does wonders for clarity. And a lot have fear and unworthiness at the core of of the work that we do. And so people are needing to find their courage and their strength and their ability. And so my work is all about empowerment, bringing people into that place of trust so that they can get past these obstacles.
I like that you mentioned that there is this core of maybe unworthiness
Mm.
and fear for a lot of your clients. Can you say a little bit more about how that shows up, how that presents? If, for example, one of our viewers is watching and or our listeners on the podcast, I know you guys are there. I see you. No, I don't see you. They're thinking that doesn't apply to me. I don't feel in any way unworthy. I'm worthy as worthy can be. I'm not even afraid of anything. I'm Supergirl. How is this showing up, do you find, with your clients?
I think that it can get in the way of our business. We don't share what we really want to share. We're a little bit afraid to show who we really are. We like some of us tend to play a little bit small. We don't really dare to shine our light as to really who we are. Um, I really think that a lot of us are way more intuitive and powerful than we give ourselves credit for. Um, and we fear what the outside world thinks about us and what we're bringing to light for others. Some of this stuff is not status quo, you know, healers and intuitives and people who I think people who come to me are people that live differently than most, or that they just know that there's something different out there. There's more out there. Um,
Yeah, I can see that because you go through life and you're just kind of living your life every day, and then one day you start to really think about things a little bit more deeply, and you start to think existentially, and then you start having more questions. So I totally identify with what you're saying.
mm,
Our theme for our summit was live your optimal life. And I remember when we had our first little conversation about you hopping on board for that. Thank you, by the way. You seemed intrigued. When you heard us say live your optimal life, what did that spark for you? What does living your optimal life even mean for you?
mm, um, oh gosh, it means living in balance. Um, that we live in seasons, that we don't shine all times of the year, that we must honor that in ourselves. It means self-compassion and, you know, going back to basics of um, who are we and can we mother ourselves and can we care for ourselves so that we can fill our cup. Because really living my optimal life is really taking care of me first and then others afterward. Um, I think living an optimal life too is finding a really amazing mentor, healer, trusted friend that you can work energy with, just to like keep you in your peak performance. Like community is so important for living an optimal life. Taking care of you first and then your community.
Well, for me, everybody who knows me knows that when it comes to community, I really, really believe that it's important for us to find our right community. And that's what I found with the Ladies Power Launch group. And you can join us by going to growsmarternotharder.com/Facebook. But it's not that easy to just connect with the right kind of community when you're out and about in the highways and byways of the world. So what kind of suggestions, we're going to get back to that putting your mask on first piece in just a moment, but what kind of suggestions do you have for folks for how they can find the right sort of mentors, find the right kind of community, find the people who can be their spiritual touchstone back and forth with. How do we get that done?
Mm.
That's a huge question. I
It
know.
is. It is. And, you know, it's a hard one because I remember it took me many years to find that. And I feel like when you are ready, when you're ultimately ready and your body knows you're ready, you will find the people that you are aligned with. Your magnetism, what you're calling out. I also think that, you know, setting yourself up for prayer and seeking guidance through spirit, calling in what you're needing. Um, I have found more often than none when I'm working with spirit, when I've got that connection really vibing and I'm putting it out there, I just happen to come across, uh, magically come across the people that I needed. And then through them, you know, it's a process. These little steps go to each person, and that's been just outstanding.
I feel like I've seen that happen in my life so many times. I remember I needed I needed something in particular to help with my business. And I I did pray about it because I'm into that. And then very randomly, one of our Ladies Power Lunch members reached out to me, and she was a kind of coach, and I started doing some work with her, and it was great. And then she recommended that I connect with a friend of hers. Um, and I did connect with her friend who had a whole marketing company, and her friend referred me to one of his coaches, and that coach said, "Nah, I like you, you're okay, but we're not the perfect match. I know the right person for you." And that's how I met the coach that helps us in Ladies Power Launch with all the marketing side of things that we work on. And it was a long, convoluted process, but every single person that I met along that journey, it was a beautiful thing. And it was important and it was fun. And if I had just been pointed directly to that person that ends up being such an integral part of Ladies Power Lunch now, I don't know if it would have been as much fun as it was. So
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying about asking. And I would add also, when you ask, trust the process because it might not show up exactly the way that you expect, but it's going to be the best way.
Yeah, it's just aligned with exactly what you need.
So let's talk a little bit. You mentioned two things for living our optimal lives, putting our mask on first, doing our own self-care. And we talk about self-care on this show all the time. It's probably a song that we should sing in this show. I'm gonna make up a song, folks, all about self-care. Tune in next time. No, I'm not gonna sing. It's something we talk about all the time. What advice do you have for us for taking care of ourselves, putting our own mask on first?
Hmm. I Very simple stuff for me that I do daily. I say bare feet on the ground 15 minutes a day minimum. Bare feet, getting the electromagnetic, energetic electrical charge from the earth. We need that. That helps us stay grounded.
All right, I'm going to stop you right there, Kristy. Stopping you in your tracks because I know you're in Vermont. I'm in Connecticut. Look, for 17 months of the year, it's cold here.
It's
Yes,
warmer there than here.
our years are longer than all y'all's years, but never mind that. Ugh, give us some advice for wintertime connecting with the earth.
Yeah. So in the wintertime, I like literally get dressed up in my ski pants and my all my dad's wool stuff, ski pants, boots, and I have a wool blanket and I put the wool blanket down on the ground and I lay down on the ground, all bundled up on the wool blanket under the tree. And I for 15 minutes at least. Sometimes I go out barefoot in the snow because there's power in in the freezing frigid snow. It like enlivens you, like gives you so much zest that you may not have had. It's this reconnection that the cold can really like give you, like that zest. So that's the winter. Um, Grounding is so important because it brings us down deep where we can hear and listen. And um, another thing that I do every day is breath work, meditation to bring space and clarity, manifest things that I want. Um, to help me with, if I when we have a busy life, because we do, um, sometimes we can get overwhelmed and have anxiety. So the breath work and the meditation really helps knock that down and create more space and clarity. Um, I also find that our words are our wand, and that we can powerfully orchestrate our life if we really pay attention to our words. So important. Um, I find that water is a just a huge healer for me. Swimming, salt baths, cold baths, any type of immersion in your warm tub, if that feels more comforting to you. Water is healing and it shifts your perspective. Um, Walking in the woods. This is something that I do because I live right here by the woods, and not everyone may have the woods, but a tree, like finding a tree and touching a tree, feeling the groundedness in the tree. Stones, crystals, um, smell the flowers often, drink lots of water with Celtic sea salt for hydration because, a lot of our water doesn't have the minerals that we need. It's the really simple things that make a huge difference.
Okay, so I was taking notes while you were talking. So you talk about getting out there and actually getting in contact with the earth for 15 minutes, and you're informing us that this can also take place in the wintertime. So basically, we're in fall now. To timestamp this, even though we probably shouldn't be, we're in fall now. So it's not too difficult to get out there and get barefooted. But when it's winter, I'm going to be calling you. I'm going to say, Kristy, I'm going out now, just to let somebody know what's going on. But yes, getting in contact and getting grounded. You talk about meditation and breath work, the healing power of water, which I can absolutely attest to 100%. I find even that when I get in contact with the ocean,
Mm.
it's even more healing. I mean, all water is healing for me, but getting in contact with the ocean feels like it's the ultimate healing for me. Getting out there in nature, touching a tree, um, getting involved with stones, crystals, staying hydrated. These are all really, really great pieces of advice. If you could, we're all missing something, I'm sure. And I'm sure as you have been doing this work over the years with many, many clients, you've probably seen some themes that begin to emerge. So if you were able to grab us all in a big, big hug, I probably ask this question every single time we do a show, and you were able to give us all, just as the world, one piece of advice, what would that be?
Mm. I I think that we need to stay connected to our heart, to our desires, our passions, um, and really that does mean staying connected to nature. We have, as a society, moved away from nature. That's our healing force, and it really helps us stay connected. I mean, as much out of our head as we can. We get wrapped up in technology, and technology is great. It's wonderful. It connects us all, but it also, being on the computer, has lots of EMFs. So it's radiation, and we need to unplug to replug to recharge, which connects us to our heart.
I love that. It should be on a t-shirt, unplug to recharge. That sounds beautiful.
I like that.
Yeah, that's one that you should definitely put on a t-shirt somewhere. We all have that opportunity to unplug, get present, get in that moment.
Yeah, presence is so important.
Yeah. Give us some do's and don'ts. What
Mm.
are some of the things that we could be doing more of? What are some of the things that we should be avoiding as we lean into this idea that it is possible to live our optimal lives? And so we're going to all be trying to do more of that. What are some things that we can embrace or let go of?
I think that, the things to avoid are tons of computer time. EMF um, radiation dampers our clarity and weakens the body. So I feel that in that in that avoiding, we could add crystals like shungite, and there are particular crystals that work really well for EMFs. So if you're going to be on the computer, you have something. I've got a shungite tower here that really helps the shield the EMF from you. There are studies where you put the shield in front of you and you can actually see the distance. Like when you don't have the shungite, the radiation comes right into your body. It comes and penetrates into the aura. When this is present, it doesn't reach your body. So it just supports you so much more. I think I would avoid self-talk. Every cell in our body is listening, and we can create disharmony so easily by talking negatively to ourselves. It's so important. On the other side of that, to give ourselves love and compassion, to treat ourselves like we would our best friend, to honor ourselves, to see ourselves as like these amazing people, to honor our, how far we've come in our life. Sometimes we don't give time to celebrate who we are and what we've done. And my gosh, we need to celebrate those moments. And then, things that we've been avoiding is lacking, taking lack of time and space for ourselves to integrate. We're doing work for others. And in that work, I don't think I've ever met a healer or another person working with another that doesn't heal or learn from the experience of the reciprocity. And then, we take on our own healing as well outside of those things. Like we have to take the time to have space and quiet and presence to integrate all of that, or we're just bypassing it and it's not really working for us. We don't really see it if we're bypassing it. And I think the other thing to avoid is overworking. And this week I have been overworking and I'm like, okay, where's this balance in my life? I'm seeing that I'm tipping over this way a little bit, and that tipping depletes me, it takes from me, takes, my cup is leaking and I don't have as much capacity. So really seeing that balance is really important to bring the harmony back in.
I love all of these. These are all really, really great pieces of advice that I think if we're all able to integrate these suggestions into our lives, we will be definitely on our way to living our optimal lives. Are there any resources that you've plugged into recently that you particularly like? Things that you're enjoying? Maybe a particular book, maybe an application, maybe a podcast that you like, a TV show that you like, in addition to our TV show here. And is there anything that you think, you know what, if you guys tune into this, this will definitely help you to live your optimal life?
Boy, I would say it's to unplug from everything
Mm-hmm.
and to go to nature.
Nature is
We
the
are
it.
missing so much by not having more time with nature
Mm-hmm.
that it really does anchor us into the wealth that is out there. There's so much power that we are not tapping into when we don't get enough nature time. There are moments where I can sit and be with nature and just information comes in that I've been like thinking about for a class or for work or for a client, and if I hadn't been outside, they wouldn't have come that easily.
Mm-hmm.
It's a powerful way to connect to our deeper inner knowing and really gain some powerful information. So I'm always about, can we unplug from everything and everyone so that we can recharge with nature and really figure out who we are? That's really where the gold is. That's where we mine our gold, is to, who are we? What do we have to offer? And giving ourselves the time to do that is just precious.
So we like to think of ourselves as a practical show. And I tell folks all the time, if you encountered me 15 years ago, we would be having a completely different conversation. I would be like, well, okay, nature's fine, but you need to show me the double-blinded placebo-controlled trials that say nature is fine. So when you were talking just now about the shungite crystal actually shielding the radiation and studies that show, I was like, ding, 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 studies. That's right up my street. But we like to pride ourselves in being a practical show. So I'm going to put you on the spot here, Kristy. Give us some homework. Give us something that we can take away from the show and go home and go do to give us that first step to living our optimal lives.
Yeah, I highly recommend a 15-minute a day breathwork practice. Super easy. By laying down on your bed, no pillow, flat, breathing in, filling up your belly first, then the bottom of your chest, the top of your chest, holding it for a moment and letting it out slowly. It's a real slow, deliberate breath in and out. And the more you can fill up that belly at the bottom and then release it all, the better. And the really juicy aspect of this is to start with an intention. Intention is 98% of all of what we can do. It's magic. So we have an intention. We create the intention and, whatever that may be. And why do we want that intention? What is that going to bring for us? So it's, I want this and this and this so that on the other end I will get this and this and this. And set the intention, write it down, and then just breathe. You don't have to remember it. And then you just listen and you watch the body and messages come in. The breath releases some of the unconscious stuff that has been kind of lingering that we haven't really integrated yet, and it clears the room. It's like the shamanic broom clearing the body, and it just creates so much more space. And that breath is all about air, which manifests out into the ethers, which brings things back to us. So easy and so life-changing. I have all of the clients that I work with do this, and I get raving reviews about how much it's changed their life.
Well, we're definitely going to try it. And for those of you who are watching along in our Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group, just drop some comments in this chat to let us know what your experiences have been with doing breathwork practices like this. If you've had some experience there, drop some comments about what you're going to try, how you're going to integrate this into your life, and we'll keep talking about it and see how it's going for us. Kristy, this has been an amazing conversation. I'm sure our viewers have gotten, and our listeners over on the podcast have gotten really, really good information, but also opportunities for integration as well from you. People are going to want to know how to connect with you. And I know you have a beautiful, kind, and loving, compassionate free gift for folks who are connecting with us today. How can people get in touch with you?
Yes, I'm on crystallineearthhealing.com. And I'm offering a free gift of a consultation, free consultation today. And you can go to Crystalline Earth Healing, book a session. And I'm not sure if you're going to put that in the notes, the actual address.
They might be, or maybe we'll just drop it at the bottom of the screen so that folks can see
Yeah.
it.
Is get into the Crystalline Earth Restorative Healing. Actually, not restorative, crystallineearthhealing.com. You can just click book a session and just tell me that you're from the summit, and I would be happy to meet with you.
Beautiful. And it's crystallineearthhealing.com/book-session. And it's crystalline with a K. So KRYSTALLINE, crystallineearthhealing.com/book-session. And then you get a chance to chat with Kristy. I mean, guys, time is really valuable. And so I invite you to take advantage of this because Kristy really, really does have so much heart to share with you. At the end of every show, Kristy, we pull a card. I have a lot of different decks floating around here. And then I usually don't pull the card ahead of the show. I usually just kind of wait to see which deck's going to call me. And wouldn't you just know, the deck that called me is one I haven't pulled from in a while. It's the Sacred Rebels Oracle by Alana Fairchild. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this one, right? Yeah.
Totally.
So let's see. What card shall we pull today? And I just always preface this by saying that I enjoy pulling the cards because I feel as though they pull whatever might be percolating in my subconscious right to the forefront. Helps me to kind of tune into the things that need to be tuned into. So let's see. I have never pulled this card before, and I've had this deck for years. Interesting. It says, free from judgment, free to love.
Oh,
Have you ever pulled this one?
I haven't.
Right?
What's the number?
39. Let's see. Let's see what's happening here. Imagine a world so infused with bliss, love, and wonder that you naturally and always feel as safe as a nourished, cherished baby in the arms of the universal mother.
Mm.
Life mothers us with kindness, and sometimes when we need it to grow through challenge as well. Accepting this mothering in its gentle and fierce faces can be difficult at times, yet there are those brave enough in spirit to go forth onto their life path with absolute trust in the universal mother. Some are even part of our plan to help mother others so that they too can surrender fear and live more freely. This oracle comes with a message for you. You're learning about mothering and being mothered. You might not do this in a typical way. It might be through bearing children, but it could also be through adopting children, raising children, or otherwise taking care of children and loving them as if they were your own. You might also be learning how to mother on a rather different scale, working with groups, communities, causes, or purposes that need your devotion, your energy, your belief in their value, and your willingness to be the wild tigress or the supportive shoulder to lean upon in order to bring those worthwhile groups to life. I'll post the rest of this card in the Ladies Power Lunch group. So for those of you who aren't yet members, go join us. growsmarternotharder.com/Facebook. And we'll have some conversation around this card in the group. But Kristy, what is this bringing up for you? What's coming to mind based on our conversation as you're looking at this card?
I just feel like everything we just said is right there in the card. And I was thinking about what is one word that came to me this morning when I was thinking about all of this, and that's the word I invite you to percolate on today is resilience.
Yes,
When
beautiful.
Yes, when we can tap into all of that, there's just so much resilience, and in that moment, that in between moments, that's where the real gems are.
I love this card very much. I'm going to have to spend some time with this and just integrating this message, as I hope all of you will when you pop on over into the Ladies Power Lunch group and get a chance to get a hold of this. If you want to see Kristy in action at the Ladies Power Lunch Summit and watch all the replays and get your copy of the Live Your Optimal Life anthology, then I'll also give you another invitation. Go on over to growsmarternotharder.com/ticket and get your copy of the Live Your Optimal Life anthology and all the replays for the Ladies Power Lunch Live Your Optimal Life Summit. This has been a wonderful conversation. Kristy, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. I hope we'll have you back soon.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
And thanks everyone for watching. I'll see y'all on the next show. Bye everyone.